Hey, so we're going to be doing an unboxing now on the Adizero Club 2 shoes. They're black and ash green, size 11, my normal size. So we're going to be doing an impression on what I think of the shoe, and then we're going to test them on my feet. So let's check that out. And I really like the look of this shoe, and the cloth is really nice. It has that nice weave pattern. Looking at the midsole, it looks a lot like how the Adizero and the Barricade Classic Bounce were designed, because if you think about it, you can compare the two, and the Adizero has that bubbly shaped midsole, that little imprinting, and the Bounce also uses the same technology. But I can tell that these aren't going to be the same type of sneakers, because look at the stripes, they're not embroidered or sewn, they're actually just printed on. So please keep that in mind. The shoe is trying to be lightweight, hence the name Adizero, but also that comes with some quality, in my opinion, some quality sacrifices. The outsole is a very interesting looking pattern. It's kind of like what skate shoes have, like Vans. It's like square and diamond. It's not like the typical herringbone pattern. So please keep that in mind. So I don't think you can take deep digs in the court. It's something where it's like very low profile, and the benefits will include the speed. I mean, the medial side it looked alright, but it wasn't supported like the Novak Pros. Check out that video if you guys are interested. But I mean, compared to the Novak Pros, these lack a lot of stability. There's no huge chunk of rubber to protect you. And I mean, it's not just the Novak Pros in the Adidas line that shows that this shoe may be lacking that support. You can also check out the Wilson Rush Pros. That series really does a good job in hammering this point too. Like the Wilsons, they have this big rubbery medial side, and that gives me support. No matter how many times I dragged on that side, the shoe wouldn't wear through. But this shoe, I mean, it's so thin that I guess if you slide around, you will cause some heavy damage, maybe the first 10 hours. But again, the shoe is meant for very light work, like light footwork, not grinding through it like a Novak Pro, and how Novak himself is sliding around the court. So you got to keep that one in mind. So with all that said, my first impression, without trying them on, is that the sneakers are very lightweight, in the same realm as the ASIC Solution Speed 2s and the Nike Vapors and all those, like Nike Court Light too. But it's not going to have the typical Adidas support that I'm accustomed to, because I've been only wearing Adidas Barricades when I'm wearing Adidas. And I can tell the traction is probably not sufficient compared to even the Vapors traction, because this pattern doesn't look like it's very agile and will aid me in lateral cuts. But with that said, we're going to do the segment on my feet. So let's go do that right now. So now we're going to put the sneakers on my feet. And as you can see, the sneakers are pretty nice looking. They're very flat on the aerial point of view. The colors look great with jeans if you plan on wearing them a lot. Maybe you're a high school tennis player, right? And you want to wear them because you're busy going to class. So they look good. They don't look like a very bulky, clunky type of shoe. One thing you'd want to note is when I'm moving the feet, you can see how the arch is very visible in a sense. So it's not like the game court where it's very much similar to casual shoes in the Adidas line. So this one you can tell is an athletic sort of shoe because it's already contorting to my arc, right? And the laces are a little bit long, so double knotting is anticipated, and the white midsole will probably get a little bit dirty, but the material is nice enough that I think cleaning will be reasonable. So now in terms of how they feel a lot better than the game courts in terms of in the tennis world, because in terms of tennis, the game courts, they really lack stability, and the traction was oddly placed in my opinion. And here, I can see why the traction is in certain areas, and it feels more purposeful and less like it compromised certain things. I know the actual traction itself isn't to my liking, but that depends on your body weight, the ratio compared to your height, and what surface you play even. And note, the Adizeros aren't always meant to be the most durable type of shoes around. They tend to have very thin outsoles, and because their outsoles are so thin, they even peel off. So you got to keep that all in mind too as well when you're making this purchase. Because again, this isn't the Ubersonic 3. This is the Adizero Club 2. It's not the most high quality Adidas sneaker out there. So yeah, I mean, looking into these sneakers, it's very, very, very nice looking, and they're lightweight. So I'm not gonna lie, the weight does impress me. But again, a lot of low price models, they have a weight very similar to this, if not less, because they're using a thinner outsole, because they're not backed by the warranty. So again, you got to keep all this in mind. And now we're gonna talk about how the upper feels. The upper is pretty firm, but it's not like I feel like I'm gonna jam my toes. It's more of like a K-Swiss Ultra Shot type of upper. It's not tight like the Novak Pros, where you're gonna get a bunch of toe jamming potentially once the ankle support starts loosening, you know. But this one's more, it's more forgivable, I'd say, in both parts. It's more forgiving in terms of stability and more forgiving in terms of potential toe jams. So it's in the middle in that department, and I feel a lot more ankle support in these, but again, it feels like a very middle in the road sneaker. That's my take based on just putting them on this on my feet review. So now the main question you're probably wondering, would I buy this sneaker? It's a tough decision again, because there's no big red flags that would automatically like not count this sneaker. But the sneaker's overall look is pretty good, but it's not super good, if that makes sense. It's not something I would immediately spend full price if I were to see it 10 years down the road and be like, oh, I want to try this sneaker again. So honestly, I would buy this sneaker with a qualified response. I'd buy it if the sneaker's retail price is under $50, maybe 55, but my mindset right now is just 50, because I'm already happy with my court lights, and I could get them for $40. This sneaker, I don't really know yet in terms of how long or how well they'll last, so I wouldn't spend more than something I'm already comfortable with. And the warranty for a lot of these $100 shoes makes $50 a reasonable price. So $55 would be maybe if this sneaker lasted over 2 years, just because the lightweightness and the traction is very, very efficient, you know. So that's my second take on this. But honestly, I think this sneaker is probably like in the, just for like people who are just kind of starting out, but they're getting better and they don't want to just try these unstable, cheap shoes. Maybe they had bad luck and they want to get something in the middle. But there's nothing that really made me stand out, you know? I didn't try them on with ankle braces. That might have made a difference, but honestly, based on how the upper is built and just how they felt on my feet and the traction, it's just not enough to sway me, but it's not enough to dissuade me. So I guess in the long run, or in the future, once I do maybe purchase a sneaker, I can give a more thorough and more evaluative response. But based on what I've seen, I think it's fine. So there you have it, dude. I'd totally check the sneaker out. Maybe it's a lot more supportive than it was for me. Then it can be like a vapor substitution. But from my experience, I would not prefer this sneaker. So that's what I have today. I reviewed the Adidas Adizero Club 2s. in black and ash green, and let me know in the comments below what you think of this review and maybe what other things I should preview while I'm doing these sort of reviews, what other sneakers you want me to review. And shout out to everyone who's subscribed to me. Appreciate the channel's support, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe.